Here I am in the apiary and I am preparing to do my second inspection of this nuc. So I installed this nuc 2 weeks ago and I'm doing its weekly check-in. It's quite windy here today, but not too cold. There's a little bit of blue sky and the bees are actually flying, but I'll have to be careful that the brood and they don't get a chill. So it'll be working quickly through the inspection. And what I'm trying to ascertain really is three things: whether the queen is happy and laying well, so looking for eggs, brood and larvae in all stages, whether they have sufficient stores, because I fed them 2 weeks ago when I installed the nuc, and hopefully they'll have transferred that across to the comb that they've drawn out, but I need to check that they've actually got some, and whether I need to feed them any more. I don't think so, because the nectar flow here has been okay, I think, but I'll be looking for that. And then thirdly, whether they've got enough space. So I installed them across I think they were across 5 frames when I put them in. Last week they hadn't had the opportunity to do a lot of drawing out of extra comb because it had been very cold, so they were across 8 frames, but it was they weren't fully drawn out. So now I'm looking to see whether they've managed to expand that and move across more frames, and if so, I'll give them a bit more space. So last week the frame feeder was still in there, so they had 10 frames to work across and then a frame feeder, and if that frame feeder is gone, I will has been emptied rather, and they don't need any more feeding, or certainly don't have the room for it, I will take the frame feeder out, put another brood foundation frame in, and then think about putting a super on top as well for that, with foundation frames in ready for them to draw out. So that's what I'm aiming to do with my quick second inspection. So stand by and we'll see how they're looking. Here we go. This is just a quick check of the bees flying today. So they are coming in and out, they are flying, but they're certainly not doing so in like huge numbers. So that's why I am planning on having a quick inspection. But I don't know whether you saw there's another one just going in with some pollen stores, which is a really great sign for the brood and the larvae. So hopefully things will be building up nicely in there, but let's get in and have a look. So that's the crown board off, and you can see we've got the feeder here, which is now empty, and then we've actually got bees across all of these frames, which is a great sign. So my plan is to take out this feeder because it's redundant now. I can see there's loads of stores there that they're using. I'll put an extra couple of brood frames in, and then I'll give them the super space on top. But this is a really good build up over the last week. They've done they've moved from these frames to across the whole of the frames of the brood box, which is really great to see. So this is a classic frame of stores. You can see that they've you can see the honey that they are reducing, well, the nectar that they're reducing down to honey in there across that frame, which is looking really good. Just show you one of the brood frames here. So look at that brood pattern, very full. Larvae that are uncapped there, but pretty much capped across with some stores across the top, which is wonderful. Just want to show you these little play cups here, which they're not charged queen cells or anything like that, they're just play cups, but I'll take them out regardless. It's a really good brood laid pattern there with very few drones, so really great to see, moving up with workers rather than anything else. This is another really great brood frame to show you. So bees all over this one. You can see capped brood here and some uncapped larvae there. Also, just over here, I'll just move these guys. There are some eggs in the bottom there. Hopefully you can see. So this is, and there's some drone brood here as well. So this is brood in all stages on one frame. So this hive, this colony is looking pretty happy at the moment, which is a relief after last week, I can tell you. So a quick recap on this week's inspection, just as these bees settle back in and they're already like quite calm, to be honest. It's as I say, not a great flying day, but they are in and out. I've got quite a few nonplussed and bewildered drones that are out and about though, which I think because they've probably not been out of the hive much, they don't know where they're going, and I've tried to put a couple back in and they seem reluctant to go in. Anyway, so quick recap. The bees had emptied that frame feeder and were across 9 frames that were in the brood box, so all 9 frames. They hadn't drawn them out fully, frame 1 and 9, but they were starting to do so. So a good sign that they had built up over the last week. They'd pretty much increased their frames by like 50% that they're working across, which is great to see. So what I've done is but in terms of space, they were like probably at the limit of where they would be happy. So that's why I've taken the frame feeder out, put 2 extra brood frames in. So they've now got 11 brood frames in there to work across. 2 more to draw out, which I've not put right at the very extremities. I've put them in a little bit just so they can work on those and draw them out in a useful place, but without affecting the brood nest, as it were. So you don't ever want to sort of put them in the middle of the brood nest because they sort of lose track of stuff. And then done a very quick inspection of each frame. I didn't see the queen, but I have seen eggs, so that means that she's in there and she's like laying happily within the last 3 days. I've seen brood in all stages, so eggs, larvae, brood, capped, and some emerging as well, which is always great to see. There's some drone brood in there as well that's capped, but not a lot, so it's a really sort of healthy balance of workers and some drones. There were some play cups in there as well, which I've taken out, but they didn't look too serious, in all honesty. And just very happy with how they've built up over the last week. They seem happy. They're very docile bees, a little bit perturbed obviously by the wind and being handled, but very, very light use of smoke to keep them calm. So actually, like, really pleasant surprise that they've built up well after last week where they hadn't really done a lot, but they've had a much sort of warmer week to draw comb and get out in the nectar flow. So really excellent to see, and fingers crossed that they now, with those 2 extra brood frames I've put in, they can carry on sort of filling those. I've also given them a bit of space in terms of a super on top as well, which might be a little bit ambitious, but if they have another week where they want to build up build up further, and also they've got capped brood in there, those all those bees, when they hatch out of the comb, will need somewhere will need bee space, so they will more than likely fill that brood box, and with, I think there were 3 frames of capped comb, so like they'll fill that space in this next week or so. So plenty of space for them. Get ahead of any ideas of swarming. Queen seems happy, even though I didn't see her, and a very successful inspection, so all good.